Good evening, this is Mr. Wintermelon. So we will be going through the answer for the TYS on eyes and neurons. First, let us look at question 2. When eye adapts to view a distant object, what are the receptor and effector? So receptor will be the photoreceptor at the end of the retina. So what we can do is cancel out A and B. Then the effector. Effector, in this case, we are viewing distance object. So for distance object, there's only one muscle, which is the ciliary muscle. So the answer is C. The ciliary muscle will relax when we are viewing distance object, like you stretching yourself when you are looking to an object that is far away. So what will happen down here is ciliary muscle will relax, then it will pull the suspensory ligament and the lens will become thinner. Moving on, the diagram shows two sections through the eyes of the same person. What happened to achieve the changes from the eyes in diagram 1 to the eyes in diagram 2 under different conditions? So there are two conditions down here. One is from close up to long distance, and one is from bright light to dim light. So first thing is, for long distance, the ciliary muscle will relax. As mentioned just now, imagine you are staring to the green color grass to relax your muscle, or your eyes muscle, your ciliary muscle in question. So let's just cancel this out. And for the pupil, we can see that it actually becomes larger. So when the pupil becomes larger, we know that the circular muscle actually relax. So circular muscle relax and the radical muscle contracts. So the answer is C. The diagram shows a section through the eyes. What is the role of the labor part in producing a focus image of a nearby object? So one is the cornea. Cornea is responsible for the refraction of light, or most of the refraction is done by the cornea. So if you are unfamiliar with the term refraction, refraction basically is the bending of light as light travel through medium of different optical density. That means if it's traveled in air compared to when it's traveled through water or travel through oil or travel through glass, the speed of light changes, which will cause a bend in light. So from this, I can tell that reflection is wrong. So I'm only left with refraction. Then this one, number 2, is the ciliary muscle. Ciliary muscle for nearby object, they actually contract. So answer is C. For the next question, question 9. On a bright sunny day, a man watches a friend walking away from him. Which role describes the state of the component parts of his eyes as he keeps his friend in focus? So what is happening down here, right, is walking away. So it's from near to, or we assume near to far or further away. So let's see. Okay, radial muscle in the eyes, sunny day. So what is going to happen is your pupil will actually become smaller. Okay, this one, pupil becomes smaller. So we'll see what to do. Okay, we go on to ciliary muscle first. From near to far, far is relaxing. So let's cancel out. Then radial muscle, for it to become smaller, right, it needs to contract. Now, normally I remember circular muscle because circular muscle is the one that is, if you can imagine, it's easier to imagine that it's contracting like a turning a towel. So when you are twisting a towel, it becomes more contracted and it becomes smaller. So I will remember circular muscle instead of radial muscle. So for pupil to become smaller, circular muscle will become more contracted, while radial muscle is the opposite. So it becomes more relaxed. So answer is D, both will relax. Moving on, let us go to the MCQ of neurons. When a person steps on a drawing pin, the leg muscle contract to pull the foot away and pain is felt. Which part of the nervous system coordinate the leg movement and which part perceive the pain? Now, for feeling, your brain is responsible for your feeling. Alright? So, now, like this, you can straight away tell that the answer is A. As for the coordinator of the leg movement, because it's a reflex action go through the relay neuron in the spinal cord. In this case, it's a spinal reflex. So the answer is A. This diagram of the nervous system show 4 places, A, B, C, D, where local anesthetic block can be applied. The block prevents nerve impulses traveling along neurons. A man had an anesthetic block applied at one of the sites shown, A, B, C, or D. He can feel a pin prick on his leg and can move his leg. So where is his anesthetic block, A, B, C, or D? So what we can tell is he can feel. This one means the information is transmitted to the brain and he can move his leg. That means actually nothing much is wrong. So if we analyze this parts by part, I will go by D first, because it's a sensory neuron. So if D is being blocked, that means no information will be transmitted to the brain. So he wouldn't feel the prick. So D is out. A is also out because, like I said, it must go to the brain. If not, he wouldn't feel the pain or the prick. And as he can move the leg, C is definitely working, or C is definitely not blocked, because if C is blocked, the brain cannot send information, or the spinal cord cannot send information to C for him to move the leg. So definitely not C. So that left us with B, which is not affecting the movement of the leg. So answer is B. The diagram shows a section through the spinal cord and neurons involved in a reflex action of a hand. A student has been injured by an accident. When a sharp point is stuck into one of the finger, no reflex action occurs. However, he can still move the finger when asked to do so. So the important thing is no reflex action occur. Where has this nervous system been damaged? So basically, you have to take note that he can move his finger. That means the voluntary action is still working. So what happened is D is the motor neuron is still functioning. So definitely D is not damaged. C also cuts part of the motor neuron, so definitely C is not damaged. B is also part of the motor neuron, so B is definitely not damaged, which left us with A, that is damaged. So it's the sensory neuron that is damaged, and it affects transmission to the relay neuron. And if you ask me, it can also be this relay neuron, but it's not part of the sensory neuron that is damaged. So answer will be A. For question 4, basically they need us to identify which one is the sensory, which one is the motor, and which one is the relay neuron. So W is definitely the relay neuron. So that left us with X and Y. If you are familiar with the shape of the neurons, X is the sensory one, and Y is the motor. So the important thing to take note is here is the connection between the receptor. It will transmit information to the cell body, then the cell body will make some decision, translate to the relay neuron. And for motor neuron, it always starts with a cell body. Alright, it's the thing for you to take note. While sensory neuron, the cell body is in between the dendrites as well as the axon. Okay, so they asked for the sequence. It will be X, W, Y. X, W, Y. Oh, there's only one. So answer is C. Moving on to the last question. A person put his finger on a very hot pan. Immediately there's a reflex action. Which part of the nervous system perceives the pain? Again, perceive the pain is brain. So no question, answer is A. This one is similar to the first question. Alright. Reflex action coordination is done by the spinal cord. It's something I like to call no-brainer because it doesn't go through the brain. The movement doesn't go through the brain. Only the pain is felt in the brain. Alright, that's all.